Here's why I think PSG could finally win the Champions League, but equally they could go straight out. Now, if you're unaware, I've been watching PSG since 2019, since Thomas Tuchel was there, and I've been consistent in my views that Tuchel was one of the best coaches they've had, and Pochettino was by far probably the worst. My views on Christophe Galtier, the current manager, are mixed. PSG have been operating in a 3-4-3 system, with Vitinha and Verratti the preferred starting options in midfield, and the rest of the team built to serve Neymar, Mbappe and Messi. Now, my main negative with this is the team's horribly imbalanced. There's large spaces between the front line and the rest of the team in defensive phases, and when PSG press, though I think the players like Neymar do put in good effort, it's not very well connected. Teams can play straight through them. This has been happening in Ligue 1. Recently, PSG have been cut through by other teams. Since the league resumed after the World Cup, PSG have played 7 games in the league and kept just 1 clean sheet. And we've got to talk about the signings. In the summer came Carlos Soler, Fabian Ruiz, Nordi Mukiele, Vitinha, Renato Sanchez and Hugo Ekitike. Now let's have a quick overview. Ekitike is a centre forward who, while is tall, has never been a target man or wasn't at Rams when he broke through. He's a penalty box specialist and also really young. Mukiele was something between a right back and a centre back at Leipzig, with good athletic abilities but a tendency to switch off and not huge input in attack. Fabian Ruiz was a midfielder operating in a 4-3-3 at Napoli, specialising in long shots and being the more free player in that unit. Soler was between a midfielder and an attacker at Valencia, who, to put it simply, specialised in finding spaces between the lines, taking the ball in tight scenarios and trying to create in the final third. Renato Sanchez was constantly injured at Lille, but did have the ability to change the game completely with his energy. And finally, Vitinha was a central midfielder operating in a 4-4-2 at Porto. Now, Vitinha is the only player I would argue for who is bedded in well at PSG, and that's because he's the only player who's playing in anywhere a similar position or style to what he was last season. Let's talk Ekitike first. He's been used as a target man, someone who's meant to be strong and link play, and he's trying to learn that on the job. He has been good since the World Cup, 5 goals and assists in his first 6 games, but he's going to have to be dropped again. Why? Because Neymar, Messi and Mbappe have to start. Renato Sanchez has made like 4 league starts. He's always injured, so we can put him aside. The rest though, Soler has been deployed in forward positions when played. And though he has put up decent numbers, they're nothing compared to what Mbappe, Messi and Neymar can provide. He doesn't offer anything that's too different. Ruiz has really struggled because he's gone from playing in a midfield 3 to a more restrictive midfield 2. Mukiele, meanwhile, he's been okay, but as predicted, while he hasn't been bad in attack, he's more of a defensive player. Essentially, PSG have made a load of signings under Luis Campos that haven't really bedded him well. They don't make the team more functional in possession, and Galtier doesn't seem to quite trust them enough to start them. They're not helping PSG's pressing either, which is still pretty weak. So it's looking quite bad, right? Not quite. See, the last 2 and the only 2 times PSG have got past the quarterfinals of the Champions League was in the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons. Now, of the 13 knockout games they've played since they started those campaigns, PSG have averaged more possession than their opponent just 5 times. Now, 2 of those saw them lose. The first game I'm talking against Dortmund and the most recent game they played against Real Madrid. Even in the game they won against Madrid, where they averaged more possession, it was because Mbappe went into God mode in the last minute of the game. They were really hopeless throughout 90 minutes. But when they haven't been hopeless, i.e. dispatching of Dortmund in their second leg, dispatching of Bayern Munich and Barcelona in the quarterfinals and the round of 16 in the season before this, and when they gave teams like Manchester City a good go, it's been when they've had their backs against the wall, happy to sit back and average less possession. And PSG have essentially been preparing all season to play like this, with Neymar, Messi and Mbappe up front and catering to their defensive work rate. Vitinha and Verratti are 2 of PSG's top ball winners and 2 of their better passers. Galtier, unlike past managers who switch to a back 3 only in the big games in Europe and leave it in the league they go to a back 4, he's been coaching Marquinhos, Sergio Ramos and Danilo Pereira very well in this system. And they give up the least non-penalty expected goals against in France, less than last season too. And this gets the best out of Mbappe. Put quite simply, the Frenchman excels here. He can speed past anyone and works best in transition. So letting PSG sit off big teams like Bayern and allow Mbappe to hit them hard on counters is what they have succeeded with in the Champions League when it's gone well. Perhaps it will blow up in their face, but you throw in a Renato Sanchez who tends to have one amazing game per year, and you begin to get a bit excited for them. My whole point of this video is that PSG are coming into this knockout tie with Bayern Munich in a way they've never prepared for it like before. I'm going to be really interested to see how it plays out.